This is the latest film from Osgood Perkins, who previously did The Monkey and, of course, Longlegs, which was a huge hit last summer. And this man is working. This is his third film in
Dude.
like 18 months, and he's already got his next thing coming up with Nicole Kidman. So he stays grinding. Like I said, it had interesting production history where they had to pause production on The Monkey because of the labor strikes. They kind of got around it with this film, with hiring kind of a more amateur writer and also working in Canada, Canadian production outside of the Guild or whatever. So that was produced in the middle of The Monkey, and then it's coming out after. So interesting things. It stars Tatiana Maslany as Liz and Rossif Sutherland, son of Kiefer Sutherland, as Malcolm. They are a couple in love. They're going away to his cabin for the weekend to spend a nice romantic time. Cabin is beautiful. It's secluded. There is one next to it that where his cousin lives. He said, but he's gone. Well, we're not going to see him at all. And things are kind of weird at the place. Like I said, very secluded, big cabin, and it's just these two. They're kind of rattling around in a kind of Shining-esque way. We do, of course, the cousin does show up with his own model girlfriend who doesn't speak any English, and he's just this brash, annoying kind of guy. Like they're both they come from a lot of wealth. You just get bad vibes. And then there's this cake. There's this cake that was left by the caretaker. Who Malcolm doesn't seem. He's like, oh yeah, she always leaves us here. We tell her not to. Doesn't, we'll have it later. It's fine. It's not too bad. This cake this cake just is kind of sinister. Like we know from the beginning, like something's not quite right, and something's not quite right at this cabin, and we don't really know what's going on. There seems to be some sort of presence there in the woods, possibly. And then this is also juxtaposed with the very beginning of the film that shows this sequence of relationships from start to finish with no sound. It's just a montage of like meeting, flirting, marriage, and then a kind of a gruesome end. And we see this happen over generations, different time periods where women kind of go through this same progression. And we're back here, and is Tatiana Maslany's character, is she next in line? Who knows? A lot going on, lots to say. Zach, what do you think?
So I was a little skeptical going into this one, like I think a lot of people are, because Oz Perkins has a funny reputation in horror right now. Longlegs was kind of his big breakout following Blackcoat's Daughter, which is a lot smaller. We've covered all these on the show, by the way. You covered Blackcoat's Daughter, we covered Longlegs and The Monkey when they came out, but Longlegs was kind of the big one. A lot of people saw the viral marketing. They got really excited. A lot of people went and saw it and thought, miss, doesn't work, not it. But Andy and I were into it. We liked Longlegs. Then we saw The Monkey, right? A lot of people saw it, a little bigger in scope, kind of based on something nostalgic people are already familiar with. A King adaptation, right? Another Stephen King adaptation. And people thought, yeah, that looks cool. And then they went and saw it and thought, miss, doesn't work, not into it. But Andy and I saw it and mostly liked The Monkey. Like a little different, but for the most part, into it. And then this one came about and actually seemed to step back from all of that. It said, hey, smaller budget, way smaller cast. This is a dark trip from Osgood Perkins, like similar kind of viral marketing, but kind of scoped to be smaller. And then it comes out and people say it's a rare miss from Osgood Perkins. A rare miss, which is weird because it seemed like a lot of people didn't think he was having a lot of hits anyway. But going into it, like that's a weird way to walk into a movie, to think, hey, this is kind of not as good as the others, but also it's smaller, so maybe it's something different. You want to be open-minded. And like, from an open-minded standpoint, like I think Keeper's not bad. Like I don't think Keeper's a bad movie, but similar to Running Man, I think it's less than the sum of its parts. Like there are sequences in Keeper that are a lot of fun and creepy, and like we got a great setting. This cabin is odd. We have two kind of smaller, lesser-known actors, especially Sutherland. I've never seen him in anything. People have said his performance kind of doesn't work in this. I came around on him mostly by at first, for sure. I was like, who is this guy? He's not a very good actor. It's all right. I think he gets there. But I think Maslany has a lot of work to do in this movie, and I think she does a great job. But ultimately, like, I think the core mystery is not that juicy. When you actually kind of get down to what's going on, you're like, oh. And I think that's what hurts it. I think people leave the theater and they're like, oh, this felt like a lesser this movie, or this felt like a lesser version of that. And like, I never claimed to be anything big. It's quite humble. And in that way, I think it's good, but it's not great. I don't think it's as good as Monkey. I don't think it's as good as Longlegs. What'd you think?
So I couldn't figure out what kind of horror movie we were watching for a long stretch of it. I was like, okay, is this a like a home invasion film? Like, is someone going to break in? Is the cousin a serial killer? Is the house haunted? Are the woods outside haunted?
Yeah.
Is she haunted? Is he haunted? Is she a killer? Like, I didn't know what kind of movie it was gonna be. I think it does get going. Like, I think it gets better the longer it goes. Third act is, I think, really strong.
Yeah.
But man, the first thing I said to Zach after the movie, I was like, keeper, more like sleeper, because it is so slow in the first half. I was like,
Yeah.
where are we going? It just again, it's a little bit of a relationship drama as well, because they've been dating for about a year. They're talking about, like, are they going to get serious, or is this whole thing like he's bought one of her paintings to put in the cabin, but it feels very just kind of condescending at the same time. But it just, and again, it starts to get some creeps here and there. But it just takes a while to get to that, like, the good stuff. I think that when the stuff gets good, it gets real good. But man, that first 2/3 of it, I was struggling.
Yeah, like he's very good at shooting wide and letting your eyes linger in the back of the frame, right? Like, and that's something that happens a lot here, especially on the ceiling. You start to notice very quickly that characters keep kind of looking up, and you keep kind of getting these shots of like you looking up at them, and then behind them just like these kind of tall, big slanted ceilings in this very like kind of Art Deco-y cabin. Maslany's character describes it at one point to a friend. She calls on the phone. She's like, yeah, there's no locks on the doors, and it's all windows. So it just feels like I'm very kind of like I'm not safe. I'm kind of exposed here, and at one point when Malcolm has to leave to go take care of some work in the city, she's kind of left alone out there. And this is where things kind of start to escalate in Act 2 and get going. But you're right. Like, you can't decide, is this dream sequence stuff? Like, is she actually seeing these things? The movie, like, kind of establishes his language real early when she's taking a bath, and they do this kind of, like, superimpose effect of, like, water running around her head and, like, her starting to hear these things. Like, you start to see some things very quickly that break out of, like, the normal cinematic language of grounded reality and start to be odd and strange, and visions start to turn into madness. And I think all that stuff works okay, but yeah, I think people like once you figure out where it's going, you're not as impressed as it in the rear view. Like, I was into a lot of like the lingering shots of like shadows on the walls, and like what's going on here, and kind of you hear something in the background, but also like small cast, small budget, like, so you're getting a humble answer. And I think people are disappointed by that they come out at the end of it and be like, that's it. That's what was going on. It's a shame. Like, in a vacuum, in a bubble, if you'd never seen any other horror movies, solid. But you got to compare it to a lot of genre bests. And I think that makes this feel small. I think this makes this feel a little bit more insignificant. And finding out they worked on it during the strike, I mean, that's no fun. Boo. I don't like that at all.
Yeah, not great. Yeah, it, like I said, there's this historical stuff that opens the film of these, like, a relationship in like the colonial times, and then like the 30s, the 50s, this kind of thing, and it doesn't really tie that into the film until pretty late. And I feel like we needed some more breadcrumbs along the way, because for lots of it, I'm just like, what is going on? Is she hallucinating? Is this real? Is it a dream? It's a bit of a mix. And I just think we needed a little bit. You got to give the audience a little bit more along the way, because I do think the payoff is real strong. Like a lot of horror movies, like by the time you get to act 3, things get crazy. But man, it's just a long time there.
I think it's my favorite Maslany performance. I was reading people say that she isn't that good in this movie, and I feel the opposite. I'm like, I liked her in this way more than She-Hulk. And she's in The Monkey a bit as his mom character, but like really just kind of in Act 1. And she's kind of doing something funny there anyway. Her character's very, very cynical and has this really, I don't know. But like, she's really grounded in this. I think she's really good. I'd like to see her in more stuff. Like I said, Sutherland's all right. He's all right. He gets there by the end, but I get why I haven't seen him in a lot of features. Do we know, like, the next thing Osgood Perkins is doing is bigger? I think we had a story last week that we ended up nixing from the outline that was Nicole Kidman's going to be in his next horror feature. So we know he's kind of getting back on the horse with stuff, and this was just kind of something small in the meantime. I guess I got to know, Andy, would you recommend Keeper?
Uh, I would recommend this to if you're a big Osgood Perkins fan like myself, or if you're a big horror fan and looking for something interesting. I would still say probably save it for streaming. If you're not a fan of either of those two, I would say probably it's a pass. But for the horror heads among us, I'd say it's worth seeing, but it's not like a must see in theaters.
Yeah, kind of the same. If you're a horror head, go for it. If you're looking for just something to watch around, spook season, like probably gonna skip it. Like it'll come to streamers. I'm guessing HBO, but I don't actually know for sure. It'll be on the front page. You'll be like, oh hey, Keeper, and also like great runtime. By the way, does not overstay its welcome. Feels a little long somehow, but I think it's just because there's not many people in it. It ends up being a bit more of an isolation kind of story through a large part of it. But like fine for streaming. No reason to go rush out to the theaters and see it. That's Keeper. That's the show.
The young sorry, The Young People is the name of his next film with Nicole Kidman.
All right, The Young People
with Neon.
Curious to see what that looks like. Yeah, dude, I feel like my man's never beaten the hater allegations. Like a lot of people have said, like since Longlegs, he's not that good. And I don't think this is a miss per se. Like I don't think this is another step towards him being bad, but like it doesn't help his case. It's kind of like Wright and The Running Man a little bit. It's like not exactly the new banger. Yeah, not exactly a masterpiece. And that's okay, but like tough to recommend. That's all. So that's Keeper. Man, if you're curious, if you want to see what's going on in this thing, go for it. I don't think we gave too much away, but that's episode 315 of the podcast. Andy, what are we watching next week?
Wicked for Good is coming out this week. It's the big Wicked week. That's gonna be a huge $1 billion movie or something. It's going to be a huge weekend for that. That comes out this Friday, November 21st. Also taking a look at Train Dreams, which is it's an Oscar film that's coming out on Netflix on Friday as well, starring Joel Edgerton. I don't really know much about it other than I've heard like it's making people's top 10 lists. It got rave reviews out of the festivals. People are bawling through it. Nothing but good things. It's supposed to be this incredible emotional movie. Like I said, on Netflix this Friday, November 21st. An FYI release, Rental Family, the not Brendan Fraser film where he's an actor that he goes to Japan and gets hired to play people's fathers and parents. That kind of dramedy is coming out this Friday as well. Surprising. That movie's, I think, getting kind of brushed under the rug. But Wicked for Good and Train Dreams next week.
Are you as rattled by the very early Wicked for Good reviews as I am? Because I kind of just assumed it would be a banger, and it seems like reviews are coming out. People are like, uh-oh. doesn't stick the landing as good as the first one did. I think it does. It's supposedly that's how the play goes, though. I think the second half is not as good as the first half. That's what I've heard. What do you think?
That's what I've heard. It's a little weak, but I don't think it's going to matter. I think it's still going to make a ton of money. But the other thing is, I was discussing this with someone else, that's a bit how Broadway stuff is, because they just got to get you in the door.
Yeah, man.
Once you buy the ticket, like the second half can be lame, because like I said, you've gotten through the first half and you've stayed after the intermission. So I'm sure it's going to make a lot of money. But I have heard that it is weak. But they've also apparently woven elements of the book, which is different from the stage play as well. It's very different. They're like, I started reading the book and I was like, oh my God, this is like really violent and lots of sex. I was like, Jesus Christ. So that was a big shock. So I'm interested to see how this goes. It's gonna be huge. That's all we know.
If you enjoyed the podcast, if you like what we're doing here on Off Script Film Review, best way to support us is just subscribe to the show on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook. Just follow us somewhere. Just engage, right? Click like or share or hit the notification bell. Hell, even leaving a comment is super helpful. All that stuff drives the algo, right? The almighty algorithm in the sky that drives us up, puts us in front of more people. So if you like what we're doing here, leave a comment. Tell us you liked it, right? Shoot us a DM. Hit us at mail@offscriptfilmreview.com or email. Check out our website, offscriptfilmreview.com, where we post full reviews, more content, press stuff. Our YouTube channel has a lot going on. Check us out over there at Offscript Film Review. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all these social media places. If you want to take us in your ears on the go, you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartMedia, Off-Script Ears edition, as it were. And keep it here next week for Wicked and Train Dreams, which I also don't know a lot about. So I'm going to try to go in dry on Train Dreams. Supposed to be a big, humble awards contender. We'll see. But from all of us at Off-Script, the home of bold cinema, I'm Zach Lewis.
And I'm Dr. Draper.